Do you dress for women or for men? No, you dress for men.
Well, a whole week without a man around. But...
Well, you can call out for food.
Huh?
What if the woman who made you laugh the hardest was quietly fighting a battle no one ever saw? She was the other half of one of TV's most iconic duos, forever remembered as Ethel Mertz, the loyal best friend, the comic sidekick. But behind the scenes, Vivian Vance was anything but second best. Behind the timeless laughter of I Love Lucy lies a lesser-known tale of personal trials, professional pressures, and the inner dynamics of the cast. Especially the story of Vivian Vance, who played the beloved Ethel Mertz. While viewers fondly remember the antics and warmth between Lucy and Ethel, Vivian's real-life experience on the show painted a far more complex picture. She was the only trained stage actress among the main cast, bringing a depth of experience that often went unnoticed. Though her character brought smiles to millions, Vivian's off-screen life was filled with both rewarding and difficult moments that shaped not just her performance, but her perspective on fame, friendship, and fulfillment. Over the years, Vivian Vance opened up about what it was truly like working on I Love Lucy, a show that redefined television. While the on-screen camaraderie seemed effortless, behind the scenes, the dynamics were often marked by tension and misunderstandings, especially with William Frawley, who played her on-screen husband, Fred Mertz. When she was first cast as Ethel, Vivian was surprised and even disappointed to learn that she would be paired with Frawley, who was over 20 years her senior. She voiced her doubts about the believability of such casting, a remark that reportedly offended Frawley. The resulting friction created a long-standing rift between the two actors. Though they remained professional on set, their interactions were laced with sarcasm and chilly civility. Despite this, they successfully performed their roles with comedic brilliance, hiding their off-screen discord from the audience. In contrast to her strained relationship with Frawley, Vivian's connection with Lucille Ball was far more nuanced. Lucille, a brilliant comedic force and exacting leader, demanded precision in every performance. For Vivian, working alongside Lucille was both exhilarating and overwhelming. Playing the role of the straight woman to Lucy's outrageous antics required constant adaptability and patience. Vivian often felt like she was racing to keep up with Lucille's intense energy and perfectionism. Initially overshadowed by Lucille's dominant presence, Vivian gradually found her rhythm and came to admire Lucy's dedication and artistry. Over time, this professional admiration grew into a deep and lasting friendship. However, the road to that friendship wasn't always smooth. Lucille's control extended beyond acting. She and Desi Arnaz, through Desilu Productions, managed every aspect of the show, including the cast appearance and conduct. Vivian was required to maintain a certain weight, to create a visual contrast with the slimmer Lucille Ball, reinforcing the comedic dynamic between the two characters. She had to wear intentionally dowdy costumes and frumpy makeup to fit the image of a traditional housewife, a far cry from her actual sense of style and elegance. Though Vivian disagreed with these constraints, she accepted them as part of the job, knowing how important the character of Ethel was in grounding the show's zany tone. Vivian also spoke about the technical demands of I Love Lucy, particularly the rigorous rehearsals and the challenge of performing in front of a live studio audience. Scenes were meticulously practiced, often late into the night, the perfect comedic timing. The presence of a live audience brought both pressure and energy, making every performance feel urgent and real. Vivian cherished this dynamic, as it created an irreplaceable connection between performer and viewer, something that contributed to the show's enduring appeal. Still, with fame came emotional tolls. Though proud of her role as Ethel Mertz, Vivian struggled with being typecast. Audiences and producers had difficulty envisioning her in any role beyond the comedic, dependable sidekick. This limited her career options post I Love Lucy, and though she longed to play more diverse characters, she rarely got the chance. Nevertheless, she took pride in the legacy of I Love Lucy and felt gratitude for the affection fans showed her. Her memories of the show were tinged with both affection and a sense of what might have been. Her bond with Lucille Ball became especially important after the show ended. Vivian was more than just a co-star. She became part of Lucille's extended family, serving as an honorary aunt to her children and a steady friend during turbulent times, including Lucy's divorce from Desi. Their friendship endured, and Lucy often credited Vivian with offering calm support when she needed it most. Lucy would later reflect in interviews that she had come to truly appreciate Vivian's talent more deeply over time, especially while watching reruns. She noted that Vivian's subtle comedic brilliance had sometimes been overlooked during their years of active production. Vivian's personal life, too, reflected a journey filled with both joy and hardship. Born as Vivian Roberta Jones on July 26, 1909, in Cherryvale, Kansas, she grew up in a large family in Independence, Missouri. Her early years were shaped by a strict upbringing and a growing passion for performance. Determined to become an actress, she studied drama at the University of Colorado and honed her craft in community theater and repertory companies across the country during the 1930s. Her stage success eventually led her to Broadway, where she appeared in productions like Music in the Air and The Voice of the Turtle, building a reputation for her versatility and comedic timing. Her transition from stage to television came when she was cast in I Love Lucy, a role that would make her a television icon. As Ethel Mertz, Vivian brought warmth, wit, and depth to a character that could easily have been overshadowed. Her chemistry with Lucille Ball created one of the most memorable female duos in TV history. She won an Emmy in 1954, becoming the first actress to receive the award for Best Supporting Actress. After I Love Lucy ended, she continued to appear in spin-offs and specials, including the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour and The Lucy Show, where she played Vivian Bagley, one of the first divorced women to be featured on American television. However, success in her professional life was often at odds with turmoil in her personal relationships. Vivian was married 4 times. Her first 2 marriages, to Joseph Danek Jr. and George Koch, ended in divorce after a few years each, likely due to demands of her rising career and the instability of life during the Great Depression. Her third and longest marriage, to actor Philip Ober, lasted 18 years, but was reportedly plagued by tension and allegations of abuse. Ober's jealousy over Vivian's success may have fueled emotional or even physical mistreatment. It was a difficult chapter in her life, despite the professional heights she achieved during their marriage. Her final marriage, however, brought peace and stability. In 1961, she married literary agent and editor John Dodds. Unlike her previous relationships, this marriage was marked by mutual respect and support. The couple eventually settled in California, where Vivian could stay close to her industry peers while enjoying a quieter life away from the Hollywood spotlight. John remained by her side to the final years of her life and supported her through her battle with metastatic breast cancer, which ultimately took her life in 1979 at the age of 70. Vivian's later years were filled with reflection, appreciation for her career, and gratitude for the impact her work had on audiences. She remained close to Lucille Ball, and their bond lasted until Vivian's passing. After her death, Desi Arnaz honored her memory, calling her not only a great actress, but also a cherished friend. Her family donated her Emmy Award to the Albuquerque Little Theater, a tribute to her roots and enduring legacy. Through candid interviews and personal reflections, Vivian Vance helped peel back the polished exterior of I Love Lucy to reveal the personal sacrifices and complex relationships that made the show what it was. She offered a rare, behind-the-scenes look at how groundbreaking the series truly was. From pioneering production techniques like the 3-camera setup and shooting on film to incorporating real-life moments like Lucille Ball's pregnancy into the storyline. These innovations shaped the future of television and remain influential to this day. Though Vivian Vance became a household name through her role as Ethel Mertz, the fame that accompanied I Love Lucy came with complexities that few outside the industry could fully understand. While millions laughed at her comic timing and lovable antics, Vivian often felt conflicted about the persona she was required to embody, a stark contrast to the woman she truly was. Ethel was meant to be plain, older, and frumpy. In reality, Vivian was glamorous, intelligent, and ambitious. This disconnect between the character and the actress created a tension that followed her throughout her career. She knew the public adored Ethel, but privately, Vivian longed for the opportunity to show her full range as a performer. The limitations imposed on her were not just physical, but emotional and creative. Desi Arnaz, while visionary producer, maintained strict control over the show's image. His insistence on Lucille Ball being the center of attention often meant the supporting cast had to play within narrow lanes. Vivian understood the structure of the show. It was Lucy's world, but still struggled with being constantly sidelined. She was sometimes disheartened by how infrequently she was allowed to break out of the comic wife mold. Still, she maintained her professionalism, never allowing her personal frustrations to seep into her performance. Her deep theatrical training served her well in this regard, giving her the discipline to maintain her character's integrity no matter the circumstances. One of the few places where Vivian could be herself was on stage. Between television seasons, she frequently returned to the theater, starring in plays like Harvey, The Voice of the Turtle, and My Daughter, Your Son. These performances offered her a reprieve from the rigid format of sitcom television and allowed her to reconnect with her artistic roots. Critics often praise her stage work, recognizing sophistication and nuance she brought to each role. Her theater career became a lifeline, a way to remind herself and others that she was more than Ethel Mertz. Vivian's complicated relationship with William Frawley continued to fascinate fans and media alike. Their off-camera friction became the stuff of legend. Rumors swirled of insults traded between takes, icy silences during breaks, and even arguments over who had the better dressing room. Frawley was known for his gruff demeanor and fondness for alcohol, which sometimes interfered with his reliability on set. Vivian, who valued professionalism, often found his behavior frustrating. Still, she never allowed their discord to affect her work. Remarkably, the chemistry they displayed on screen never hinted at the strain behind it. Many fans were shocked to learn years later that the duo barely spoke outside of their scenes. It's a testament to both actors' skill that their performances remain so convincing, warm, and believable to this day. Vivian's greatest solace during the I Love Lucy years remained her friendship with Lucille Ball. Their bond, while initially grounded in work, deepened over time into something akin to sisterhood. Vivian was one of the few people who could make Lucy laugh off camera, and their moments together were filled with honesty, vulnerability, and shared understanding. Both women knew the pressures of show business and the cost of balancing career with personal happiness. They leaned on each other in moments of difficulty, including Lucille's tumultuous marriage to Desi Arnaz and Vivian's own personal struggles. In a business built on image and illusion, their friendship was one of the few constants. One particularly touching aspect of their friendship was how it endured even after their careers moved in different directions. When Vivian was diagnosed with breast cancer in the 1970s, Lucille remained one of her most devoted supporters. Lucy visited often, even when Vivian's health was in decline, and always made an effort to lift her spirits. Despite their differing paths, the bond they shared on I Love Lucy had laid the groundwork for a lifelong connection. It's been said that Lucille never truly got over Vivian's passing, and often spoke of her with deep affection and admiration. Vivian's legacy extended far beyond the screen. In private, she was known for her generosity and empathy. She quietly donated to charities and took time to mentor young actresses trying to break into the industry. Though her public image was tied to comedy, Vivian had a deep, intellectual side that she seldom revealed to media. She read voraciously, kept journals, and often reflected on the state of the entertainment industry, particularly how women were treated. In letters and interviews, she expressed concern about the narrow roles available to women and hoped that future generations would have broader, more dynamic opportunities. One of the few regrets Vivian expressed later in life was that her true capabilities as an actress were never fully recognized by the mainstream. She knew that audiences loved Ethel, but she also understood how that affection sometimes confined her. Casting directors often overlooked her for dramatic roles, unable or unwilling to see past a lovable psychic image. Still, she bore this with a measure of grace. In her mind, bringing joy to people through laughter was no small achievement. She once remarked, "If being Ethel made someone's hard day a little easier, I'll take that legacy with gratitude." Vivian also helped pave the way for women in television. She was one of the first actresses to appear in a recurring role on a hit series, creating a blueprint for what a female supporting character could be. Her portrayal of Ethel Mertz broke stereotypes. Ethel wasn't glamorous, but she was real. She was funny, loyal, strong-willed, and capable. In a time when most women on screen were housewives or decorative arm candy, Ethel stood out. She held her own in scenes, had her own opinions, and wasn't afraid to call Lucy out when necessary. This authenticity resonated with female viewers across the country, many of whom saw themselves reflected in Ethel's common sense and unwavering friendship. In the 1960s, Vivian continued to make occasional appearances on television, including returning for guest spots in Lucille Ball's later shows. However, she gradually retreated from the spotlight. Part of this was by choice. After decades in show business, she longed for a more peaceful life. Her fourth marriage to John Dodds offered her that tranquility. The two enjoyed traveling, gardening, and spending time away from the glare of Hollywood. Vivian began to focus more on personal fulfillment rather than public acclaim. Her final years were bittersweet. Though she was content in her personal life, her health began to deteriorate. After battling breast cancer, she experienced several recurrences, and the disease eventually metastasized. Still, she faced her illness with the same quiet strength she brought to every role. Surrounded by friends, family, and especially John Dodds, she found comfort in the legacy she had built. She knew she had made people laugh, that her work had stood the test of time, and that her performances would live on long after she was gone. Vivian Vance passed away on August 17, 1979, at the age of 70. Her death marked the end of an era. For millions of fans, it felt like losing a family member. Tributes poured in from across the entertainment world. Desi Arnaz called her one of the greatest talents in television history, and Lucille Ball was said to be heartbroken. In the decades since her passing, interest in her life and work has only grown. New generations discover I Love Lucy every year, and with it, the brilliance of Vivian's performance. Her contribution to the golden age of television cannot be overstated. She helped set a standard for comedic acting, demonstrating that humor rooted in truth and humanity resonates the most. She didn't need slapstick or elaborate gimmicks. Her comedy came from her eyes, her timing, her subtle expressions. Whether she was reacting to one of Lucy's schemes or delivering a perfectly timed quip, Vivian made it look effortless. And that effortlessness came from years of hard work, training, and a deep understanding of character. What perhaps stands out most about Vivian Vance is her resilience. In an industry that often pigeonholed, overlooked, and mistreated women, she carved out a place for herself and held it with dignity. She weathered abusive relationships, professional frustrations, and health challenges with remarkable composure. And through it all, she never lost her love for performance, nor her appreciation for the audience that supported her. Today, Vivian Vance is rightly remembered not only as the woman who brought Ethel Mertz to life, but also as a pioneer, a fighter, a friend, and an artist. Her story reminds us that behind every iconic character is a real person, one with hopes, struggles, dreams, and depths that go far beyond the screen. In honoring Vivian, we honor the countless performers like her whose talents built the foundation of television as we know it. She may have played the sidekick, but in the grand narrative of television history, Vivian Vance was nothing short of a star. Vivian Vance's story is one of resilience, creativity, and grace in the face of both professional and personal challenges. Her legacy continues not only through her unforgettable performances, but also through the doors she helped open for future generations of women in comedy and television. Her portrayal of Ethel Mertz, while often underappreciated during her lifetime, has come to be seen as a masterclass in comedic support, timing, and emotional authenticity. While I Love Lucy will forever be remembered as a comedic gem, Vivian Vance's deeper story added a layer of richness to its history. It reminds us that behind every iconic show are real people with real struggles, individuals whose talents and perseverance help create something magical. Her journey, marked by both adversity and achievement, serves as an enduring testament to the power of performance and the complexity of fame. Vivian Vance may have been Ethel to the world, but her life reflected far more than one beloved role. It was a story of determination, transformation, and heart. If Vivian's story moved you, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more untold chapters of Hollywood's hidden history.